Hi guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my AFL fantasy trade targets for round 6 and going through who I think are the best trade targets, who are guys that you should look into getting. And yeah, so before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, I've done and made the filters so it's highest score from last round, like the last round in terms of scores. And then if we go to the 200 to 299, so the rookies, you basically have your choice between, dependent on Johnson and him getting picked in the middle and not on the interchange bench or the sub. He is an option at 215k. As if we look at here and go to AFL, if we go to AFL break evens and we go down here and we search up Johnson, he has a break even of 8. So that's all right. And then you see Swans, Roberts from the Swans, he has a break even of 6, and Seamus Mitchell has a break even of -2. So those are the main 3 in the 200k range. As I haven't really looked into Williams from the Power yet. Fergus Green is sort of just a key position player, so he could drop a 30 or something like that if he comes up in a tough matchup. And if we look at the Hawks, do I have a Hawk? Yes, I do. They play Adelaide. I think that will be a tough matchup for Fergus Green, so I don't think he'll do terribly well, so that's why I wouldn't go for him. Constable's not going to play. Moyle's getting phased out again, as, yeah, you gained 68k from him going to him, so that's all right, but not the best. Bergman's, I think, still out. Chess is out. We talked about Johnson. Young, Daniels, Uland is out. And then Jones is sort of an over guy. I don't really want to look at that. And then you have Corey Wagner here, who's a little bit pricey, I think. And I don't know, what is his break even? Let's see. Wagner is up. No, that's Warner. Here we go. Wagner 21. That's sort of a high break even, to be honest, for a rookie. We're really looking for rookies with break evens of, I'd say, sub 10 and below, and really looking for rookies with negative break even. So for me, the plan is that if Johannesson isn't picked in that back line and they reshuffle it again and he's in the forward line or out, then I am going for Mitchell here and putting him in that F6 spot, and basically saying to him that he will do well against Adelaide, in my opinion. So just putting him in that F6 spot, getting some cash so that next week I can even get some other players in, but obviously saving a lot more cash and having almost 200, it would be 270k in the tank, and then being able to make moves next week in terms of, I might even be able to do McGrath if Gawn isn't playing, then keep Grundy and move the likes of McGrath or even Green up to Oliver, and then be able to the week after move Grundy up to English and McGrath up to Day, which shouldn't be too bad in my opinion, as Day 727, and Duggan could easily make that gap up and use him, but I really want to use McGrath as Duggan's looking alright with Hearn out to the side. But if Hearn returns into the side and Duggan is that price range to be able to get that deal done, then that's what I'm going to go for, especially because I think English has a hard matchup. If I look at him for, I guess we are looking at trade targets, he's got a break even of 100, and what's Grundy's break even? 99, so not that much difference, I guess. So yes, and so that's basically the 200k, guys. There's no one else here that really interests me particularly. Ralston doesn't look too good. Cadman is a key forward. Ben King's starting to dwindle down as he's a key forward. 300Ks, you have Radicalier. He basically just had a good first quarter and then fell away completely. Don't even think he had a touch in the second half. Then you have Combin here, 77. I think we're sort of watched him play out too many games of just doing nothing. Like I expect him to probably put up a 20 in this game or something coming up, because that seems to be his the way he rolls. You could look at Reece Mansell, but I think there's better players that can get 100, 105 if you just go up by 100k. And I don't think Mansell can. And Will Phillips is another option if you were looking to get rid of someone in your midfield and to downgrade to him, as I think him with Simkin out for, I think this week only, maybe even 2 weeks, I think Will Phillips will do really well in that time. And then you have really no one here that I'm looking into particularly. And if we look at 3-round averages, you'll see there's no one particularly here doing too well. 400k, Constable's not playing. Waitman played 1 game. D'Ambrosio didn't play. Chase Jones is a guy that you should really look into heavily. That could be a guy, if Johannesson's not named, that I just go put him in defense, move someone into the midfield and move Goulden down forward, and probably play Wilmot in the midfield ranks as well. That would probably work. And then having to play Mackenzie, or no, it wouldn't be Mackenzie actually, now looking at it. So yeah, for me right now, it's all about just getting that last player on field, I guess, at the moment, which is currently hard because I have one guy here I got to play and another guy here that I got to play. So I'm just thinking through if I was to put, basically swap those out and then swap them into here, that would allow Wilmot to go here and then Goulden to go down here. So what am I missing that's not working out with me only having... it would still mean that Noah Long is that emergency guy here, and I'd need someone to cover green. So that's what the problem is. It's still meaning that Wilmot's on field, but it means that I don't... If Noah Long isn't selected and Cam Mackenzie isn't selected, then I can go... Ruben Chinby into the midfield and play Cowan on field, which would kind of suck. But with the way it is, I've got so many injuries here, and Kamaminti is suspended at the moment, but he'll come back in straight away and still gain cash. But I'll probably look to trade him out soon. But that's basically all the 400k guys. 500k guys, we have Oscar Allen doing really well last 3 rounds. Higgins, Draper, Cameron, Hunt. I don't think Hunt's an option. Danaher, I don't think is an option. Lukosius, don't think he's an option. Fogarty, I don't think he's an option either. Nash, I don't think he's an option, especially with Will Day coming back in. And Nash, I think, only really did well because he started to go on to green, and that's why he got all his points in the second half. From memory, Eden isn't a good option. Dodi, I don't think is a good option. Allen, Hawkins, Laverde, Campbell, Walker, Howe. These are all these not really fancy relevant guys that are having a good round or two, in my opinion. And then you go up to the 600k range, and you got Swallow, Papley, Battle, Blickarbs. Butters, I think, is a very, very good option. And I think... what's his own? 5.8% owned. He could easily come and then start real good and get that average up, and that last 3 average up quite dramatically here. Why didn't that? So his last 3 average is 85, base 84, and his last 5 is 80. So we sort of need him and kind of look at him for another round before jumping on him. And so I'm jumping on Johannesson, and he isn't that much owned. And then you got Kerno. So if Butters does have another good performance, I'll jump on him. But if he doesn't, then Butters probably won't be, because my next 2 trades, well, he actually could be a trade target this week. If Day comes back into the midfield, then I could potentially go Butters to Warple. That could be a choice, as I'm currently needing around about another 5-10k, so I need a downgrade option actually rather than an upgrade, and the downgrade option will just be getting probably Cam Mackenzie out for another rookie that's playing. as that's 450k that I need to get in or get out the door. And I also need to worry about Jinbi, so that's the problems for next week, as that's why I don't want to have Jinbi playing, but have the predetermined trades of getting English and Day in next week. That's why I'm going for English this week. And there's no one else really here. And then we look at the last three averages. No one else here that really I'm too into at the moment. And then you have Wilkie, Day, Baker, Shield, Wood, and Hopper. All great choices. Hopper's been really good actually in the last three. And yeah, the only concern I'd have with him was in potential injury concerns, but I think we're good with that. As he slowly builds in. Wood here is just going to average, I reckon he'll hit mostly hundreds and 90s, so he's a really good option if you just want that. But I think he's sort of already gained that cash that we sort of I didn't think he'd do this well, to be honest, but picking him up at, what was he priced at, 641 to start the year would have been huge instead of like Sheed or something. Will Day is a guy that we got to bring back in when he comes back, as he's averaging 104 and has been really, really good. 98, 92, 128, 99, huge. And he comes back and plays the Bulldogs, which should be a good game for him. Freo, which he could dominate. And then Melbourne, and then he's got the Eagles. So that's a really good run for him. And then Wilkie is a guy that I'm looking into. I just didn't think he'd be able to continue the form that he's got, and I want another week of that form to see before I actually go for him. And then there's no one else really that I'm looking into. I did look into Rioli before the game that he had against the Swans, but I'm a little bit more against him picking him up now just because he's not the best pick. I think you could see Viney actually return to some really good form here. So maybe pick him up now. I think low ownership, if you wanted a player of difference, I think Viney is a big player of difference at the moment, as he, if we look at last year, 2022, he averaged 96, so he's 14 points down on his performance last year. And if we look at 2021, he's 4.6 points down on that. So we're really looking at, this is a low since 2019 for him. And yeah, if you really wanted a pick here, looking at that, he even averaged in 2016 101. So like, I'm seriously now looking at him like he could make a big difference here, and really rise up, being, what's his break-even, Viney? His break-even is 85. I think this is a big if you wanted to make a difference play in this, I think Viney is the play here. Richmond, he is going to probably dominate in the midfield. So if I was you guys, Viney, especially look at this run he has next couple weeks, is Richmond, then he's got North, Gold Coast, Hawks, and Port. He could easily put up 4 or 5 tons here, and you're getting him in at what do we say here, Viney? Where's Viney? At 774k, and he was priced at 850 to start the year. So I think that is the big play for an underpriced guy. And then 800 to 900k, you got Sarong, Kelly, Anderson, Darcy. I think could be also a play. He might actually be the play if I wanted to go against English owners, who English is averaging 122, and I think English starts to go down. If I wanted to go against English, if we look at Freo's fixtures and get some Freo players in, he's got tough matchup, easier matchup, and then he's got the 2 big boys, and then that should be an easy matchup, but Nankervis should be back by then. I actually do like his schedule a little bit more now. I'm just worried about a Darcy dropping an absolute stinker, I guess, in that he dropped a stinker against North. So can he continue up his, I guess, good form now and pick up those 100 scores. He might be a guy that I actually wait a week 2 and pick him up, and that will allow me to get better, I guess, players. But we'll see. That is something I'll talk with other people about and see if they think that is the play. Jordan Dawson is a great pick, and Cameron is a pretty good pick at the moment. But and he plays Sydney, and I expect him to go 110 plus, honestly, against Sydney. Nankerv's injured. And yeah, that's pretty much it looks like. Is there anyone that needs to be mentioned? I think Crouch goes down now that Steele's back. Oliver, I think, has a pretty good game against Richmond. Merritt's good. Steele coming back. I'd wait a couple weeks. Parrish is alright, but doesn't seem to have that volatility upwards. Miller, Sam Walsh is alright, but I think we need to see another couple games of him just to see if we can get those disposals up. Doherty injured. Laird, I think we can wait a couple weeks because of his high break even. If we look, Control-Shift-T, getting back to that, and we look at Laird's break even of 117, he won't go any higher, I don't think. I don't think he goes any higher, and he potentially drops into the 890s, and Brayshaw is still carrying an injury, and he's still averaging 100, but carrying an injury, and I think he just drops lower. So, yeah. That is my video of the trade targets for round 6. And yeah, really looking towards the likes of, with Viney, I think is a really, really good pickup at this point. And I think he could be an absolute game changer if we look at, if Melbourne start getting back to their best with Gawn and Grundy back. I think Viney is a play that you can make, and that will change a lot for people. I think if I was going to go a ruck against English, I'd go Darcy. And that is a potential plan if I wanted to get the likes of, because Darcy is 170k, so I'd have 190k difference. I wouldn't be able to get Viney from the likes of Chandler, but I could potentially get Viney from Green and do some other stuff and get some value there. But yeah, that's basically my video there and then, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks guys, goodbye.